Welcome to another exciting episode of the Do Big podcast. Joining us today is Pratik Kamdar, CEO and co-founder of Neuron Energy, a company at the forefront of India's EV revolution. From redefining battery technology to enabling sustainable mobility and energy storage, Pratik is on a mission to build the ecosystem that powers the future. Today, we unpack his journey of purpose, perseverance, and powering change one battery at a time. Hi, Pratik. Welcome to this episode of the Do Big podcast. It's an absolute pleasure having you here today.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for calling me over.
So let's start with a quick, light, fun, rapid fire. Let's up the energy on this podcast. One word that best describes you as an entrepreneur.
I think persuasiveness and relentlessness is something that would describe me better.
Okay. A book or a podcast or a movie that inspires you.
Shoe Dog by Phil Knight and Art of War by Sun Tzu or something.
Okay. Who's your tech idol?
Tech idol in today's age would, in Indian context, would be Dipinder Goyal for the platform that he's built today and the scale at which they've managed to grow the brand in the last 10 years.
Okay. And a business idol?
A business idol from our industry, it would be Elon Musk for the sheer grit at which he's built an automobile brand around batteries.
Any aspiration of doing what Musk did, moving from batteries to cars, or just want to remain in the battery space?
No, we are happy remaining in the battery space. It would be difficult to move into cars today.
Okay. Which city gives you the best entrepreneurial energy?
I think Bombay. Bombay hustles well, but in new age, probably Gurgaon and Bangalore are the cities that are doing well.
Okay. And what's harder, starting or scaling up?
I think starting up is way harder than scaling up. Scaling up, you have put pieces together and you're now amplifying things. Starting up is where you're figuring things out. So that's way more harder than scaling up.
Is it just the part of putting it all together, or are there other challenges when you start something?
I think everything goes wrong. So you're hustling daily to put things in, especially in our line of business where, the technology is very new. So electric mobility, we all are new to it. There is no rule per se. There's no industry guideline, nothing.
Correct.
So we are building it from scratch. So I guess in our case, it is more about putting it together initially. Scaling up is an easier process later on.
Pratik, you started your journey in real estate and real estate consulting, and you then moved on to co-found for a clean tech startup. What brought about this shift?
So I started off with real estate as my family has been into real estate development, continues to develop in and around Bombay. I was personally looking at solar, LED, clean tech, waste management, something in that space. Accidentally, I came across batteries. And more so, I was looking at something which is very new age, which resonates with today's requirements. So climate fit in very well. And that's how we came across batteries, and we got a good opportunity to introduce electric vehicle, two-wheeler, three-wheeler batteries. So that's how we started the journey of Neuron, and the idea or the conception of Neuron came in.
And what was that hunger for going and finding something new to do, something different?
I think the hunger was always there. Probably it has come from a fact that I wanted to build an institution always. Family business, it's slightly challenging, changing things that have worked for a very long time and building and reshaping that institution. Starting a new company and building it from scratch is easier. So you can probably do it your way. And we wanted the business to be something that resonates with today's requirements. So we had 2-3 things we were looking at, and battery was something that strongly came across as something that we can execute well. And that's how we started Neuron and moved on.
So what was the core problem or gap that you saw? I know EVs are new. I know that it's something that has recently happened. Why did you want to do batteries, and what was that problem you were solving for?
So we actually extensively traveled across India and we found out that there is a huge demand for electric vehicle batteries. The supply was acutely short compared to the demand. That time there were only 8,000 to 10,000 electric scooters that were deployed. and probably around 2 to 3 lakh electric rickshaws in the low speed segment that were deployed. High speed segment, we don't have that number even today. So we figured out that there are very few manufacturers who are catering to this segment at this point. Second is it's a problem that the government was backing, considering India is dependent on imports of crude oil, petrol, diesel, etc., and it bleeds the nation in a significant manner. So third is the pollution aspect of it, and so there was a definite support from the government to push this industry, and we found out that the consumers were willing to shift and willing to buy to electric mobility. There was a significant level of acceptance to the new technology with the consumers. The only difference at that point of time was price. We were too expensive, probably 30 to 40% more expensive than ICE vehicles. And that was the only barrier which was stopping EV adoption to be accepted at a very rapid scale in India.
I know that EV infrastructure is still not in place in the country. And how do, therefore, companies like you work in a space where the infrastructure is not fully set?
So I think this is something we've been used to. So if you take a parallel of a computer industry in the 90s, we all were used to computers hanging, there was formatting, we used to control, alt, delete, restart the computers all the time. Those issues have gone away today. That was the learning part of the industry where products were put out, but they were not complete. Same thing happened with mobile phones, the entire journey from Sony Ericsson back in 90s, which was bulky and used to work for 2 hours, 3 hours, and we used to swap the batteries behind the mobile phone. And then they shifted onto permanent batteries, which we can't remove from the phone. So similarly, EV is going through the same curve, where we believe that right now swapping batteries will remain as an assistance that is required today, which will act as a virtual fuel pump per se. And eventually, as the technology advances, we will see more and more charging stations coming up and more fast charging capable cars coming up. With EV, I think the duration would be way shorter than the time taken by the computers in the 90s or the mobile phone industry in the early 2000s. I think this all should happen within 5 years, where we expect to jump from swapping to charging. And also the power infrastructure in the country is significantly improving. 20 years ago, EV in India wouldn't have made sense as majority of the states were power deficit. But today that has significantly improved. Except for a few states, most states are power surplus. So keeping that in mind, charging infrastructure won't be a challenge. So we expect that to grow rapidly.
So there has been a shift, right? There was how should I say, there was a spurt in EV sales. And now there's kind of a plateau and there is a bit of a down because people are now questioning about the cleanness or the clean tech aspect of batteries itself and how do you dispose of batteries and things like that. When there is so much change coming in the system and in the category, how do you keep innovating, or what's your approach to innovation and addressing these rapid changes?
So in terms of the growth is continuous. And in terms of percentages, the spurt was higher, but that was on a very low base. So that's why the percentage showed up as 500% growth, 600% growth. But in terms of sheer volume, we have been growing in EVs year on year. And that growth has been significantly consistent. Second, in terms of evolving of technology, I think everyone globally is adapting to what technology suits a particular climate. So initially, India started off with NMC, which is nickel, manganese, and cobalt as a technology. And there were some fire incidents that have been reported in electric two-wheelers across the country. So majority of the India today has shifted to LFP. LFP cell works well between plus 10 degrees to plus 60 degrees versus an NMC cell, which is minus 25 to plus 25. So we copied something China was doing or the West was doing initially. And then people have evolved into understanding our climate needs, our topography. The use case is very different in India. The road quality is very different in India. So the designs that have been made in India have evolved. even the battery pack design that we make in India and are approved by the government agencies have significant level of vibration testing, which does not happen in Europe or China because of the road quality being very different. So I think it's an evolving technology as we are learning on the go. Everyone is learning on the go. It's not only the battery manufacturers, the OEM manufacturers, the technology suppliers, and even government is evolving its policies as we move on. And I think we are heading into a better space where it's getting more stable and more mature.
So the evolution of batteries per se has been very fascinating, right? From where we started to lithium ion today. Where do you see that kind of an evolution when it comes to electric vehicles?
So I think batteries per se earlier were used not to power the vehicle. So lead acid batteries that were used in the vehicle before were used for cranking, where we used to use the batteries only to start the vehicle. And the vehicle used to run on petrol diesel. By 100 years ago, there was some form of traction electric technology, which then moved into combustion engines being adopted as the means, and petrol diesel took over as the fuel. Now, when you come to today, the shift from lead acid to lithium, lithium is not only replacing fuel, it is replacing many other things. So lithium ion batteries today in cars is replacing sale of petrol, sale of diesel, sale of kerosene. That is one. Lithium ion is also replacing lead acid batteries, which were used in telecom towers, solar applications, etc. Lithium ion is also enabling another form of application in battery energy storage systems, which never used to exist before. So where in a solar power plant which captures energy and feeds it into the grid, which was an on-grid system, now a battery enables it to be off-grid, where the power is stored into the battery and the battery feeds the grid when the grid requires it. So that's another application that's opened up. So the applications have not really competed only with old school batteries per se. So it is eating into business of petrol, diesel, electronics, and batteries for storage applications. However, the technology will shift. Like lead acid remained for 140 years. We don't see lithium ion lasting 140 years. So it will be a 15-year, 20-year jump where we will see applications coming in. In fact, we already have tested sodium ion. Hydrogen is being tested by multiple companies for certain applications. So I think multiple technologies will coexist depending on the use case of the applications.
At what point in your journey in the last few years have you felt, yes, we're onto something and we know we're onto something big?
I think the demand is huge. When our batteries started working, so we were the first in India to introduce LFP batteries. And we found it very difficult in the initial years to sell that to a customer in India because everyone was used to NMC. In 2022, we gave a lecture in Columbia Business School in Bombay about how a battery pack should be designed. That was attended by Niti Aayog director, and they took a lot of design advices that we gave and formed India's policy of AIS 156 norms of how a battery pack standard should be maintained, whether it should be in a two-wheeler or three-wheeler. And then that adoption came in very quickly because majority of the two-wheelers were catching fire in NMC.
Correct.
So we saw a shift in demand from NMC to LFP. So that's where we realized that, the demand is coming in and we'll be able to execute this better. But having said that, the market is so huge that even if we manage to execute even 1%, 0.5% of it, we'll be able to do well. Okay. So electric scooters in India is the largest market. There are 20 crore scooters in India today. Out of that, only 16 lakhs are electric scooters.
Wow.
So there's a huge scope available for conversion. If you convert it at a 20,000 rupees or 25,000 rupees per scooter battery cost, the market size crosses 5 lakhs to 6 lakh crores. So only scooters. Then you talk about rickshaws, four-wheeler, bus, trucks, energy storage. So all put together, you're looking at 20 lakh crores to 25 lakh crore market size. So even if we can pluck out a 4,000 crore, 5,000 crore, 10,000 crore market, it will be significant for the company.
Fantastic. This is such an amazing conversation. Thank you for being here with us today and an absolute fun conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.